Hey guys, it's Jamie from Modern Day Fox. Today I'm going to show you how to do an easy, no-soak barbecue baked beans recipe in your Instant Pot. This recipe is plant-based and vegan, and it is going to knock your socks off. I can't wait to show you how to do it. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our lid off our Instant Pot and press the saute button down here on the lower left-hand side. When the pot heats up, we're going to add one small onion. I have gone ahead and diced it. I have this little manual chopper. Sometimes when I don't feel like using my getting out my food processor, I just use this manual chopper. I'll link it in the description of this video, but it works really fast and dices the onion. So that is one small onion. And then I'm also going to add a tablespoon of minced garlic. And if it sticks to the pot, I'll just add a splash of water, but no oil. We're just gonna saute that for a couple minutes until our onion gets translucent. It's been sauteing for a couple minutes, so the next ingredient I'm gonna add is smoked paprika. This ingredient is what's gonna give it a really nice, kind of smoky, meaty flavor. Next, you're gonna turn your pot off. Then you're gonna add your beans. So I like to use a combination of beans. I usually have a half a bag of this and a half a bag of that. Today I happen to have a cup of white northern beans left over, and I had some pinto beans. So I'm gonna mix those together, a cup of each. But you can use 2 cups of northern beans, 2 cups navy beans, 2 cups pinto beans, whatever kind of beans you prefer. So go ahead and throw those in your pot. And then for your liquid, you can use either water or broth or a combination thereof. I happen to have some vegetable broth in my refrigerator, so I'm gonna use whatever's left in this. So I have about 1.5 cups. I'll throw that in there. And then I'm gonna add 2.5 cups of water. And here's my water. I'm also gonna add a teaspoon of salt. Give that a stir. And then replace the lid on your Instant Pot. Make sure you turn the valve to sealing or else it won't come to pressure. And then because we didn't soak the beans, they have to cook extra long time. So we're gonna pot to manual and then go all the way up to 55. Oh, it takes a while. 55. You're gonna let that run and do a natural steam release when the timer goes off. While our beans are cooking, we're gonna make a homemade barbecue sauce to stir in there. This is a really easy barbecue sauce made with several ingredients, but just a tablespoon of everything. I like to keep the measurements really easy. We're gonna have a 1/2 cup of water, a can of tomato paste, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, or white vinegar works too, a tablespoon of maple syrup, a tablespoon of Worcestershire, a tablespoon of soy sauce, preferably low sodium, a tablespoon of coconut aminos, a tablespoon of yellow mustard, and a tablespoon of molasses. We're just gonna mix that all in a small mixing bowl. Once you have it all mixed up, it's time to add a little seasoning. We're gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then another 1/2 teaspoon of the smoked paprika. just give that a stir. Go ahead and pour that in a saucepan. And once it warms up, we're gonna stir in some coconut sugar to taste. Once your barbecue sauce is getting warm on your stove, you're gonna add in, I start with 1/4 cup of coconut sugar. You can use brown sugar if you prefer. But if you taste the sauce right now, it's very tangy. And so I like to start with 1/4 cup of sugar, coconut sugar, and then work my way up from there. Some people like it on the sweeter side, but I think 1/4 cup just gives it a nice little sweetness without being over the top. So just stir that in, and then you're gonna just let that simmer on the stove until your beans are done. Okay, our barbecue sauce is done, and guess what? Our beans are done. So I allowed a natural release. It took about 20 minutes for it to release. So if you're looking at your total time spent, it took about 10 minutes for the pot to come to pressure, and then it took 50 minutes to cook, and it took 22 minutes for it to naturally release. So we're gonna open the lid and see what we've got. Now you can see that most of the water has cooked down, and the beans will thicken as they cool. Just go ahead and stir all of that in there. It's gonna add that nice smoky sweet flavor. These are gonna be delicious. At this point, you can add salt and pepper. So I'm gonna add, I like a lot of salt in my dishes, and I usually in my recipes will add it towards the end because I know people have different salt preferences due to their dietary needs or their taste preferences. So I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt, and then I'm gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper because I like it peppery. And I actually am gonna add some hot sauce too because I like a little bit of heat. So here is my teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and then I'm gonna add an optional tablespoon of Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Now you wanna taste your beans. Beans can be a little finicky, and if they're older, they may take longer to cook. So if you are tasting firmer beans mixed into your baked beans, just go ahead and cook them for another 5-10 minutes in your Instant Pot. I've actually let this sit on the heat. There was a few firmer beans mixed in there, but as they're sitting on the heat, they're continuing to cook. And there you have it, another healthy Instant Pot recipe for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you follow me on moderndayfox.com on Instagram and on Facebook, and of course on my blog. Thanks everyone.